previously on Ballz.
Welcome to Blogz, Tank.
Thanks very much. Always good to be here.
And always, let's just give the big punt this weekend. Are you all geared up and ready now? I'm concerned because I was asking Simon Hill, who's away in Cape Town at the moment, visiting his mummy, that I was concerned because we're obviously going to be doing the pre-game stuff at Hatfield at Drop Zone, which is what we did last week. We'll have some of the panel there. But we thought let's bring someone who really knows his stuff and is passionate and someone that we can actually talk sense with. So we thought let's get Grunt in.
I thought you were talking about Andy Capistania.
No, Cappy wasn't available.
My knowledge of the schools they went to is very limited.
But now the other thing is that straight afterwards we've decided, even though SABC have graciously and thankfully decided they will offer some radio commentary on the test this weekend, although the TV stuff, there's clearly some kind of a battle between the new guy at Supersport and them, because it looks like ETV have got the delayed rights.
Yeah, box on E, who would have thought?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
But there will be right. But we decided let's throw in our own version of what's going on. So the panel guy, are you happy that these panel guys will be coming in on your commentary?
Yeah, absolutely. Is it now your rugby panel boys? So we're gonna have Divi there. We're gonna have Joel maybe. Blades will probably pop in. That sort of.
Yeah, no, Blades will be there. Nas as well. We think will also be around. Then obviously Divi as an expert opinion guy, and I think even Plum's coming up from Durban.
Spectacular! Can't wait.
It should be interesting, if anything. So that's happening on Saturday. Hatfield. That's on day after tomorrow from 2:00. Build-up show here on balls.co.za, and then of course we'll throw in what happens during the game. I don't know if I want to call it commentary, but you just want to listen. Simple as that. A lot of people yesterday, when we threw it out, they said, yes, do it. So we're doing it now.
I can say right now, 60% of laughter, 30% of commentary, 10% of swearing at John. It's going to happen.
Oh, John's not there.
Sounds like a good mix.
All right. And so today's subject is Billy's topic. And Billy, your topic was?
Yeah, just which, we're talking rugby, and which rugby country we as South African fans dislike the most.
Tank, I was saying that this is a pretty much cut and dried thing. It narrows down to two countries, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I was thinking we wouldn't go much further than those. I presume it's the white and yellow.
The white and yellow, correct. England and Australia, everyone we've sort of tested with this has also said the same, and people on Twitter also going, definitely either Australia or England. I suppose, Billy, it comes down to whether you are in brotherhood with the Southern Hemisphere, or you just really hate the convicts.
Yeah, I mean, I've got 4 candidates here, and 3 of them from Southern Hemisphere. So I don't know about the brotherhood thing, but
I
we'll
agree.
We'll see who comes out top at the end.
What are your other 2 then? Or are you keeping those?
Yeah. Well, I'm waiting for my gap here, but I'll take you through them if.
Here's your gap.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Kick off.
No, I think.
You're like Robbie Fleck with a gap. It takes forever to find it. Take it.
I'm just waiting for Dion Kaiser to nail me from behind.
I beg your pardon?
As opposed to?
As opposed to running and tackling him from behind.
Yeah, keep it clean. I would say, I threw it out there and I gave it some thought, and I'm gonna throw New Zealand in there. I think. I don't think it's one of mine. I think it's a misguided dislike, if you want to call it that. I think the thing with New Zealand is the old green-eyed monster gets hold of us once in a while, old envy. And when we came back into international rugby, we had a 54% win ratio against the buggers, and in the last 20 years, we've had a 30% win ratio.
Are you including the Cavaliers there?
No, that's not real test rugby, though.
Throw them in. Up to the average.
But, I mean, they are a traditional foe, but they've been whipping us for 20 years, and it's been pretty painful. So I think there is a bit of dislike there from some people. As I say, I don't count myself amongst them. I think we've got a lot of respect for them. I think the Springboks All Black match is still the Everest of our local rugby derbies. And I think the guys that add fuel to the fire, those bloody South African All Black supporters. I mean, to me, I hold them in the same vein as those 16-year-old Zimbabwean war veterans that you see on TV. Absolute con artists.
Okay. Who was your fourth country?
Well, then we've got Samoa.
Come on.
I mean,
Totally
those
with
guys,
you there, buddy. Totally with you.
If there's ever a team to dislike, it's those buggers. I mean, they're absolute thugs. That Iliota, what's his name, can get stuffed. I mean, Samoa, they think going down on one knee after the game and all sins are forgiven. But you look back at '95 World Cup.
It's no different to the Bulls.
think of 2011.
Sport Billy, where you gone? You normally got such a good Skype. Don't disappear on us now.
Am I back there?
No,
Darren?
you're back. You were going 2011, and that's where we lost you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you just think of the off-the-ball stuff at the 2011 World Cup, the 95 World Cup, and then in between those two, there was a fair amount thrown in. I mean, the head-high hits are more common than Quade Cooper's family tree, but... I mean, but basically...
Which, by the way, is etched into the metal of his trailer. If you ever want to check it out.
I mean, those guys, where they lack, though, is that they've never actually beaten us in a game, so we can't hate them that much. And then, I think from there, those are the sort of two outsiders. I think they both lose in the semi-finals, and we get an Aussie-England final. I mean, the Aussies are well known to us. Shackle draggers, sheep shaggers, convicts. You take your pick, what we call them, but
Shackle draggers.
we've got. Well, I see
haven't
old
heard that one.
Brian.
I like that one. I'm using that one. Shackle draggers. I haven't heard that one ever.
Old Brian Moore, old Pitbull.
Yeah.
Pitbull himself. He refers to them just as SDs. I see on Twitter. But there's a certain love-to-hate relationship with the Aussies, and I think what fuels that fire is those bloody South Africans that have moved over there, and they're filled with hatred for us and what we represent over here. And I think having spent I spent 6 months over in Aussie.
What did you do wrong? What was the crime?
But it's basically like a massive Benoni.
You went Perth, were you?
Yeah, with the coastline. No, I was in Brisbane and Sydney mostly. But
Okay.
Yeah, Sydney sends their love, by the way. But I mean, what I like about the Aussies is that they've got that mental edge, and I think that's probably why we hate them, is because they bring out the worst in us, and that's the dreaded C word. I mean, 1999 was a terrible year for us at the hands of the Aussies, and I think a lot of our dislike for them stems back to that year. But the one thing I'll give them is that I enjoy their humour. As I said last week, old Phil Kearns, I'm thinking about putting up a post of him in my pool room. Not just yet, but
Have you got any space with all the Gary stuff in there?
And the
well,
cornet
that's the
crickets.
thing. I mean, I've got 18 major winners, all of the same name up there, and there's not much space for Phil, but we'll give it a bash.
All right.
And then obviously, I mean, my winners, without doubt, England. I mean, the Poms, they really get up on noses. I think you mentioned it earlier, Darren. Their press don't do them any favors. I mean, they must have the most vile press out there. You would think that England are the best they ever have been
In anything.
in anything. If you read some of the stuff coming out of there, I mean, it's it really is diabolical press that comes out of England. But what I do respect about them is how the guys travel with their team. I like that. That they're very supportive of their fans. So I love that. I love seeing a bit of passion for a team. I also love throwing beer at them and pissing on their seats. But I think I'm digressing here. But yeah, basically, I mean, and also I think old Austin Healy's got a lot to answer for. I mean, if there's one man that can make you hate,
Are you
your
talking
country,
about the
it's
dummy?
Austin Healy. Yeah, no, just the character.
Okay. Yeah, he's a dummy.
No, I mean, he's a terrible piece of work.
Sorry, I'm eating nuts. If you're watching me on Skype, I'm eating Ben's nuts here.
Darren, anything left of my nuts over there?
Oh, that's gross.
I'll give Barnes some nuts.
No, but listen, on your 4 picks, I'm all... Gerrit thinks he's laughing out loud at Blogz. If it comes anywhere close to Mark Banks last night, then then you guys have done well. No, but I mean, clearly, Samoa, obviously we expect that from them, but it's like isolated incidents. We've had the same from just about every country. There's like isolated incidents that they that have got our ire up a little bit. So really, you can't really count Samoa in that. And the All Blacks are. I get more pissed off with their referees and the New Zealand referees than the players. So from Australia and England, I mean, if you ever feel like you're about to support England in anything in rugby, you just have to wait for Miles Harrison and Stuart Barnes to open their traps, and you hate them again.
Or about that Welsh guy with that stupid cartoon voice. Oh, I hate the Welsh just because of him. His name escapes me because I don't think anyone likes him. Whatever he's got going there, it's the worst thing. Jeepers.
All right, so Tank, what do you think?
Okay.
In response.
I was going to say, the Tank is on the side of the road in Greenpoint here, so if there's any interruptions in play.
I do have two hot chicks playing volleyball in front of me, so it's not the worst place in the world.
Please get your Skype sorted out, Lanning. Come on.
Yeah, I can't Skype from the side of the gym, but I'm going to get it right next week, I promise you. But listen, before I go, I replied to Sport Billy. Just a little story on Simon, Salty Snolly.
Oh, yes, tell us.
Little story.
I heard he was coming down to Cape Town, and I'd got a little invite to the FHM Sexiest Woman in the World function tonight.
Hold on. That's not the reason he said he was going to Cape Town. He's going for a school reunion.
See his mom.
Exactly.
Is his mom one of the top 100?
Penny's in the top 100.
Yes, he is going to kill you, Dan.
Yes. Anyway, so.
I took picture in him. My invite is a +1, and my wife is not one for the FHM Women event. But I said, Salty Snolly, come along. And he said, no, that sounds exciting. And then he lands this afternoon at about 4:15. I get a little inept SMS saying, parents have invited me for dinner. Might have to miss this one. Sorry.
He's missing the top 100 sexiest
He's
women.
changed. He has
What
changed.
the hell?
Seriously, he keeps. You know what I think he does? I don't even think he's going to dinner with Penny, because Penny will be at that event tonight anyway. I think he's going to the gym again. He's obsessed. He went twice. He went twice yesterday.
He had like this hectic training routine in the morning, and
Yeah,
then
and
after
then
the show he went
spinning. I think he's obsessed with gym. I think he's addicted to gym.
No, is he going to be drinking sparkling on Saturday?
No, you don't know what's happened to the boy. It's like a complete turnaround.
I feel kind of bad because I actually said to him, so you used to be quite a fat something else with an F. And he was like, I wasn't that bad.
Oh, that's what triggered it.
Anyway, he will be back on Saturday, we hope, for the big game. All right, so Tank, I don't think we even got onto your two teams yet.
No, we didn't. But I'll keep it brief. For me, I think there's respect for the New Zealanders. I think what's starting to happen is that haka. I'm a big fan of the haka, but I think it's starting to irritate people, and I think people are starting to think, well, what makes them piss out of Cologne? Why are they allowed to do that? And I think the RB needs to have a quick look at that, because I do think it should remain in the game, but I'm not sure how. Perhaps it's not done before every test or something, but I think there's giant respect between the two countries, but I just do see a little bit of irritation with the haka creeping in.
Well, look, I think we might have sorted that out, because in the Four Nations, I think they're going to let that Zulu guy run at them while they're doing the haka.
I think a lot of the stuff around the haka revolves around old Ellie Williams. I mean, and his tongue. I mean.
And his a massive tongue, huh?
And his coincidental placement next to the camera every single time.
At this point, we're bringing Nicole and Diana in. What do you think of Ali's tongue?
His tongue is not a tongue. I
think it's fabulous.
There we go, Diana.
Thanks, Di.
Bailed out by Di.
Teamwork.
All right, Di's blushing right now. Sorry, carry on,
I
Tank.
just want to say to Tank, I am Basti Tehran.
You lie.
Sorry, what's this?
Jeepers.
We have a revelation here. You are what name is that? Your Basti Tehran.
Rusty Tehran is my brother's best friend, and he asked me to go to the cricket dinner with him. And he had a girlfriend, and I have a boyfriend, and Tank tweeted a picture saying Basti Tehran, and it didn't go down too well, and it was a picture of my boobs, so yeah.
Can we retweet that?
Nice,
And you
Tank.
send us that, we'll retweet.
I just thought
That's magnificent. Are you coming on Saturday?
I don't know.
She'll be there.
Did you just say that's magnificent?
All right.
Look at the picture again.
I'll have to dig it out from the archives. That's a good couple of years ago.
She has also put out that if anyone puts 10 grand into the Wings of Change account, then she would do the whole show in a bikini.
Yes.
Wow, I'm in.
Just show us the money first, Tank.
Okay, so back to our topic, please.
Yes.
Come on. So I would have I wouldn't even have the All Blacks registering. The two teams are without England and Australia. Australia, I, for my sins, have also spent a fair amount of time there, and actually, I don't mind the people. I think they have a good time. They enjoy having a beer on a Friday afternoon, and they put a shrimp on the barbie, and it's not too bad. They've got a couple of hit-me faces in the team, and they've always had a couple of guys that it's difficult to like. Cooper, who putting in, giving McCaw a little face plant in Hong Kong, that sort of thing. As Billy said, they are rather common, and so they are easy to dislike. But right up there at the top has to be those Poms, and it's the press. And I also like those guys that tour in the Barmy Army. They're a good bunch. But that England, oh my oath, it can drive me mental. Yeah. And and I just think they've also got the Mike Catt, they've got the Brian Moore. They're top of the charts with the hit me face. And they get up my skin, and I think they're very difficult to support. So they would be without doubt number one in my book.
The easiest litmus test before Bounce gets in here is and I go back to the Aussie Lions series, and I go back to any time Australia play England. You just have to sit down, and your body tells you immediately who you're backing. And I'm sorry, but it just never ever goes England's way.
Never.
You want to see, or for that matter, the Lions. You just want to see them get absolutely pummeled, and it's horrible. But you find yourself shouting for the Aussies.
Well,
indeed.
Yeah, for sure.
You have to shower afterwards, but.
Okay, there's Sandusky. Carry on.
I think it's I think everyone will hate a bit of English. They really are the cocktails of rugby, no doubt. Like those guys like Courtney Laws, and you get these jumped up talents or supposed talents who do well in those small grounds in their mud rugby, and they come here, they take a good clap, and they're still arrogant on top of that. I think the Aussies, ever since that, remember when we sent out a second string side? I think it was I think 2007, and we played for Nelson Mandela Plate, and they were like, weak team, whatever, and then Mortlock or Gregan or one of those pricks. They were refusing to touch the Nelson Mandela shield or plate or whatever it was, and they're all having a big joke about that, saying, "No, I don't want to touch it." And I thought stuff like that, they really are a bunch of cocks. But at the same time, it really it becomes inconsequential after a while because they're not really our traditional foes. And I'm not too pally on the whole fan thing. So for me, my most disliked side is by far the Kiwis, because it's the victory that I want to see, without doubt. And then with the stupid haka, and I must say, no disrespect to tradition because I'm a purist, but that haka is so outdated. The fact that those Frenchies walked hand in hand, literally waltzing towards them, and they had such a big hoo-ha about it. You should be able to contest it. They should actually encourage it.
That's what I said. Let our Zulu go run it then while they're doing it.
Exactly.
See how many Scarpa.
Just like in '95 World Cup when Corvus Visa was literally inside Jonah Lomi's nose. That's what you want to see. But now all this stuff, and I think the IOB also pandered to all their sort of things. But yeah, like Ali Williams, Sonny Bill, all those kind of guys. I'm just not a fan of the Kiwis. Firstly, they keep calling the rugby football, which really grates my. Oh, it's the worst thing in the world. With their first 5/8 and 12th 5/9 and all this other crap. It's rugby, buddy. It's fly half, it's centre. Just get a grip. They actually really get me going. But I think a lot of it's back to respect because I really want our boys to beat them. So Aussies can do what they want. The Poms can be a bunch of knobs. I don't really care. Obviously it's nice to beat them, but my most hated enemy for sure is the Kiwis. I doubt.
Billy, were you going to say something there?
No, I was just going to say, absolutely. I think the haka, in terms of being contested, I think, the don of IRB has been old Paddy O'Brien for a couple of years, and he kind of pulls the strings out, I think. But, why we can't contest the haka is an absolute mystery. I mean, we should be able to. I remember old Camper, and you guys must ask him next time you've got him on the line. Do you remember him in one of the Bedderslow tests? And I think it was early 90s. When he went and practiced his touch kicking while the guys were doing the haka.
No, did he?
And,
Yeah.
and I mean, the Kiwis went
Campo.
absolutely apeshit about it. Campo just said, "Well, I've seen it like 20 times or something. I don't need to watch it again." Respect to him. Why should you have to stand there and watch the bloody thing?
Completely.
If old JP Peterson wants to go and practice his touch kicking or his sprinting behind the poles, let him go.
I didn't know Campo had done that, but yeah.
Yeah, the Kiwis are. Listen, I totally respect that they're the benchmark. You know what I mean? But I think they are almost getting to the point where we respect them too much. And they're getting free rein.
I totally agree.
Yeah. You look at the RB committees and stuff, and there's a lot of Kiwi influence there. Where now I see someone was writing about it the other day. Now with old Jake White gone, there's basically no one from South Africa on the rugby committee anymore, which is worrying.
Exactly.
Tank actually came up with
this is why we must hate these guys. We must take a stand.
Tank, so you were saying?
I think, it's absolutely the RB's fault. And look, I mean, the Kiwis obviously, much like McCaw, plays to the letter, to the envelope of the law. So the Kiwis play the RB as well as they can. And that's another reason why we hate the Aussies, or should hate the Aussies, is they've just had us over the barrel.
John frickin' O'Neill.
Come Zanzibar time. It's just horrific. So there should be some hatred there. But again, there's grudging respect for the way the Kiwis play the RB. The RB definitely have England number one, but right up there is the Kiwis. But I think we just need to fight a bit. We tend to, I don't know, just to take it lying down. And no one tends to stand up and take anyone on. But I think it's just good on them. I mean, well done for playing the RB like they have done. And let's get some fighters in the ring and fight for ourselves.
So much for that brotherhood, Darren.
The Sanzar alliance has blown apart here on Blogz this afternoon because no one gives a stuff about the Southern Hemisphere Brotherhood. Except me.
I mean, I agree with Tank there. I don't think you can blame the Oaks for pushing the boundaries. It comes down to old, the guys that we send into battle, which, I remember a couple of years ago when it was old Andy Marinos and Oregon Hoskins. And, they went over there, and in the matter of sort of half an hour, they signed a deal which diluted our holdings in the Sanzar broadcast by something like 5-10% or something with the stroke of a pen. And I mean, that was like a couple of $100 million rand lost there. And it just appears that our guys are happy to just, we're happy to lie over the barrel and say, take us for what you want.
Yeah. I mean, any of you guys know, though, it'd be interesting to chat to Russell McMillan sometime. I don't know where he is, but in those days after 95, with the whole rugby rights when basically Australia almost owned our rugby rights, including Currie Cup and everything, Fox. We're trying to get in here.
Wow.
Yeah, Fox them too, man.
Do you know the story, Tank?
Yeah, I do. Have you read Peter Fitzsimon's The Rugby War?
No.
It's an incredible book, and I actually was a driver to Leo Williams at the '95 World Cup. He was the director that year, and the next year I actually went to Wales to.
Tank, you're older.
You've moved up in the world, Tank.
That's amazing. You were the driver. Old Bounce was his 7-9.
Still went the same distance, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Anyway, you were saying?
But, I became very good friends with Leo, who sadly passed away, and he was unbelievable. He was very, very involved in literally what was the rugby war. And Louis Late, without doubt, saved South African rugby. I mean, that is a bulldog of enormous proportions. I mean, people hate him, and he's certainly not everyone's cup of tea around the dinner table, but he without doubt saved South African rugby, and there was enormous drama that could have happened there. All the players were signing contracts, that we're going to sign. We're going to go with Packer, and eventually Late just called Pienaar in and said, "Listen, Boykie, this is the story. I'll pay you whatever the hell you want." And a good mate of mine is Robbie Brink, and the Oak is still living off that bloody money. But Late said, "Listen, we're not going to stuff this up. We're going to give you guys proper cash, but you guys come and sign." And he got it right, But it was seriously turbulent times. But the Rugby War by Peter Fitzsimons, without doubt, a book worth reading.
I think the whole TV issue was eventually resolved because, as I say, Fox were basically teed up and ready to take all our rugby rights. And I think they were trying to get in here on the TV market, and that was their way about buying our rugby out. And I think it was Russell that basically, via a deal they had with Canal Plus in Europe, which basically gave them like deciding rights on the shares of English football at the time, through a deal through Canal Plus with B-Sky B and whatever, or against B-Sky B. They basically said to England, you will never see another live football game in your country again unless we get our rugby rights back.
Wow.
And that's actually how we got our rights back in South Africa. Otherwise, Fox would have been here, and they would have basically been broadcasting all our rugby. Interesting story. We must try and get Russell in here. He's got more detail about that. It was a very interesting negotiation around that whole thing. All right, guys, so we got to wrap it up because Gary Kirsten is awaiting us. I'm sorry, but Johnny has scheduled a Gary Kirsten chat in your Blogs feature. Can you believe it?
Play, John.
Poor.
That's poor performance.
Can I give my 2 cents worth?
Sure, Basti.
Yeah, go ahead,
She's
Basti.
never going to live this down.
I don't
Go
mind.
ahead, Basti.
I just want to
Basti
say,
Tehran. Yes, she is.
obviously always back the Springboks, but losing to New Zealand, I can accept in Australia, but losing to the Palms, I don't think there is anything worse. You don't hear the end of it.
Yeah.
It's the news for weeks afterwards, so my opinion is definitely England. Can't handle them.
I'm right there with Basti.
Yeah, I'm up there as well.
You agree
You're
with
up there
it
too, are you, Tank? Okay. So, Bounce, you going New Zealand still, eh?
Yeah, still New Zealand.
And
I
Billy?
will loathe them to the end of time.
New Zealand for you, eh? Billy, who's your top?
I'm going with England.
All right.
What Basti says stays.
Yeah, there we go. So we hate the Poms. That's the bottom line. We hate the Poms. Listen out tomorrow. We've got a few of them joining us on the Hangout with James Small. He's not too fond either at the best of times, so should be an interesting hangout tomorrow afternoon. Tom Lawson will be playing a few tunes in the hangout as well, and he'll be with us on Saturday. Thanks, so you'll meet the great Tommy Lawson, who's just wandered in here for our hangout tomorrow. So, thanks a lot for joining us, Tank. All the best. We'll see you on Saturday. Fly safe, travel safe. We'll see you in Hatfield.
Yeah.
Cheers, buddy.
Good man.
Bye.
Cheers, thanks a lot. Bye.
There's Front Row Grunt on Blogs today. And Billy, any final words from you?
I just want to wish Peter Davies happy Youth Day.
Ooh, you are very funny.
On the day that Zhang debuts in the US Open, Billy, there's no
Zhang.
respect. Zhang.
Thanks a lot, Billy. Get your subjects ready for next week. We'll look forward to another one next Thursday. Have a good week, Billy. Thanks for joining us, bud.
Cheers, guys.
Bye-bye. There we go. That's Sport Billy. Find him on Twitter at Sport Billy. Of course, Tank Lanning at Front Row Grunt. And follow The Bounce. That's where you'll find him on Twitter. Final words, Ben?
Absolutely none whatsoever. John looks quite stressed here. I think I'll let him get on with it.
He's probably got Gary Kirsten nagging the heck out of him, saying, I want to have a pot after the round of golf before the prize giving. So get on with it, John. He's been nagged.
Can he go all the way? I think he might. Brilliant! Brilliant!
2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mondays to Fridays live on balls.co.za.